Yep, we got it. I hope.
Yeah.
Okay then. So sorry guys, I forgot to transmit that through YouTube. So we lost something like 10 minutes of our conversation, but we'll continue from here. So let me share again the test with you all. And Denise, you made a very interesting question. Is that not to the Spirit Center to prevent people to ask not relevant questions to the spirituality? And I will tell you one thing. Yeah, it's really something today. Oh my God. Yeah. And I will ask you one thing. We are here live, and I do not control your mouth. Please, I hope not. And you just ask me a question. How can I prevent you not to do a question that has really not meaning to what we do here? I cannot. I cannot. You know?
Yeah. But the people will learn if they do these questions and stop, and then they will, and the questions will be, people stop asking questions. I mean,
yeah, that normally in a Spirit Center, you don't have a service of question and response. Some do, but normally in a normal work environment, you don't have that facility to come and ask questions as you wish, right? But in case you do, the answer you get from the manufacturer is like, I'm sorry. A serious answer.
I think he froze me.
Times they can make a suggestion. It's possibly.
All right.
All right.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I need to move to the other computer. So what we have in that situation is that I'm having difficulties with the count here. Just a minute. Let me try. What we have in such a situation is that we will have eventually. Why are you not helping me today?
It's your atonement, Gilham. Christine.
Hi, Christine. I'm in a hotel in the middle of nowhere, so it's not easy.
Okay.
So let me try again. So what we have, I even lost the question. Can you ask the question again, Denise, please?
No, I feel like that if the people keep asking the same question and then they don't answer it, people will stop because they stop answering they stop asking the questions because they know that there will be no answer. They will learn.
Denise, there are people and people, right? And there's a lot of people that even making a business, a living of it.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You know what I mean? They open their
Yeah.
business based on people that want to have questions and answers that are not even real, right? So it is not a straightforward thing. We cannot prevent people to do things that are not recommended, but a serious spiritual guidance from a serious spirit center will not encourage people to come to those nonsense questions, right? When it is a question that the result or the aim of the question is to help people in a true manner, is to practice charity, things like that, they will make suggestions, but they will never tell you, do this or do that. All those years, I never saw one spirit telling me, You must do this. Even if behind the suggestion is a must hidden, they will not tell you. They will not tell you. No. So, does it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Somehow, let me just see if I can. Can you guys still see the test?
No.
No, Guilherme, no, let's go.
Let me try to share again. Can you now?
No.
Good.
Guilherme, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I would like, while you were trying to sort the text, just to give an example about what you said to Denise. My sister, she's been a spiritist in Brazil for years, for as long as I understood myself to be alive and a human being. She's 17 years older than me, so she's been a spiritist all my life. And unfortunately, at some point of her life, I don't know what had happened, but she resorted to ask exactly these questions that you said, questions that were not very interesting, to someone that made a living over her mediumship. And she used cards and all sorts. And my sister became really dependent on it, very, very dependent, to the point of, oh, what shall I do tomorrow? You know, and I became really worried about her. And it doesn't matter sometimes how much you know, is how much you really understand and internalize, and it's part of our evolution, isn't it? People who does these silly questions, they are still in the childhood of consciousness and trying to grow and understanding life in a certain way. Like Spiritism always give us this understanding that life is ours, the decision is ours, it's our free will, and it's our responsibility, everything that happens. And we have the help. But if we really want to learn, they are there to help us. And if we want to go through other place, they're still there to find that openness to help us in the right way. But it depends on us, really.
It does, Liz. And I guess that by now you can see my screen with the book, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I just moved the book to another computer. When we are desperate, we decide to get a lifeboat or a piece of hope to help us out. And sometimes because the person is really trying to get their guidance or their help, they find someone that's willing to be their instrument, and sometimes even to sell that possibility. And the person becomes very dependent. Please tell the cat to go away. And
Chance to learn, Guilherme. What can I say?
but it's very difficult. It's very difficult because sometimes even the person is doing the activity with the best intentions without knowing, without realizing the danger of this act. Okay. In that case, they will not find what they are seeking with another medium. This has a further purpose, which is to demonstrate the independence of spirits, whom they cannot make act at their own pleasure. This is also the reason why those who are not mediums do not always obtain all the communications they desire. Also came to my mind here on a situation that I had lived in a spirit center. The spirit center that I'm used to work with, we do work with the spirits. We have that routine to speak to the spirits when something important. And we did that for years. We still do. But there was an event where the benefactor that we know for decades, he came to us and said, "No, I will not answer that. You need to trust yourself now. You learned enough over these years. You all are mediums. You all are receiving intuitions. You all are people that have passed through so many experiences that you don't need us to tell you if you need to do this or not." And that was a surprise. And that was a surprise because it was a different approach in the way we used to do things. And that was very positive as well. Hi, Christine.
Okay. I've just on you talking about the spirits and benefactors saying yes, you've got the abilities, you can answer that yourself, or no, we're not going to answer that question or give you guidance. Given current situations, have they been in your spiritist meetings? Have the spirits been or benefactors been giving any guidance at this point?
They do give guidance, but not any type of guidance.
Yeah.
They will give you guidance in regards to perform charity, studies, things like that. But he will not give you guidance if should I paint the wall of the spirit center white or blue.
Yeah.
They will come to you and they will say that's a decision from the people that are in the matter, not for them. Right? They will not abandon you, sort of thing, but they will not give you any guidance that you wish. Because sometimes what we wish is totally useless, to be honest. And then they will not corroborate with that. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
In fact, we must observe that those who resort to a third part to obtain communications, notwithstanding the medium's quality, often receive nothing satisfactory. Whereas on other occasions, the responses are very explicit. It depends so much on the spirit's will that everything will remain the same in spite of the medium. It seems that the spirits themselves obey a word of order in this case. And something interesting is that sometimes even when they are giving guidance and we ask more things because it's in our nature to ask, sometimes they tell us, we cannot tell you this. We cannot disclose this information. Sometimes they do not have the authorization to give answer to everything we asked. Because whatever cannot be forgotten from one medium cannot be obtained any better from another. We should thus avoid insisting on being impatient so that we do not become victims of deceiving spirits who will respond if we ardently desire it. For good spirits will allow them to do so in order to punish our insistence. If that is something that we lost the plot and we want to ask again. Okay, you will find someone that will answer you. But the answer means nothing. Possibly it will be a wrong answer. So we need to ask ourselves why we want to know that piece of information. No? And I advocate things should happen naturally. If you're supposed to know something, they will tell you. It's something that happens quite often. My last incarnation, who was I? Why do you want to know that? Really, if you're supposed to know, you would know. If you don't know, it's because there's a reason behind that. Why? That's just an example, you know. So we need to be not obedient. Obedient is not the right word, but we need to be more not resilient. Patient. Yeah, patience is a nice word. Because then when something comes, it's because it's the right time. If you don't know that right now, it's because it's not time, you know. For what purpose? Hi, Usali.
First, I would like to say good morning, everybody, and I miss everybody. But I wasn't here in Sweden. I must say it, and say that when I write, it's not so. I don't expect. I don't think about it. It happens, and I never all my life I never think be anxious and oh I would like no and when I not so interesting that when I am a little bit sick and nothing happens, and then when I had the COVID, so it's happened anything, and I don't ask about. No, never. I don't ask the spirits because they know when they would like to use me. They doesn't. They don't. I think it is a reason always behind it, and I never ask about why, never. But when I not right, when for example, when I have a dream and it's I come out of my body and I remember everything. This is this I have. Yet this is clairvoyant, and only I would like to say that it doesn't matter how much many people can feelings anxious. Why? They I think they know why, and I don't know if I am only sayers things not with sense, and that's my. I would like to only say that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you. 14. If it is a mission, why doesn't it represent the privilege of moral individuals only, since it is also given to those who merit no consideration and who may even abuse it? Precisely, because such individuals need it in order to evolve, and so that they may have the possibility of receiving wise teachings. If they do not take advantage of it, they will suffer the consequences. Didn't Jesus himself prefer to speak to sinners, stating that it is necessary to give to those who are in need? Yeah. Couldn't persons who have a great desire to write as mediums, but who do not manage it, reach negative conclusions about themselves with regards the goodwill of the spirits towards them. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about what is the time frame you should give to someone to enable to identify if the person is an ostensive medium or not, if the person can write or not, if can listen or not. And everyone has a different timing, right? And I believe I mentioned here already that I have worked with someone in the past that he was more than 20 years without giving any communication. And then one day he started to give communications. So who am I to define a time frame? I don't feel comfortable doing so. I know there are people that do, but it is entirely up to them. So the only thing I can say to you is that we should do exercises. And through the exercises, we are able to identify better what are the characteristics of the person. It may not be perfect, but at least the only way I know how to identify. Because mediumship, we don't identify in the book. We identify the mediumship through the exercises and the practice. No, because God could have refused to grant them the faculty, just as a God could have refused them the gift of poetry or music. However, if they do not enjoy this faculty, they can enjoy others. Interesting question, answer. How can humans perfect themselves through Spirit's teachings when they do not have the possibility of receiving such teachings directly, whether through themselves or through other mediums? Don't they have books? I'm thinking it's funny because not too long ago, a person that, well, Spiritist meetings, we have Spiritist mediumship meetings to receive good messages from the spirits. And my answer for the person was, if you want to get a good message, a beautiful message, buy a book. A mediumship meeting is to give assistance to spirits in need, right? And then there is this test here. Just as the Christians have the gospel. In order to practice the morals of Jesus, Christians do not need to hear the words straight from the master's own mouth. Hey, that's it, you know? And nowadays, with the amount of information we have on the Spiritist books, perhaps not every language, but today with the Google Translator, you can translate anything, right? So if you want to hear nice things, yeah, buy a book. Right. Problems and dangers of mediumship. Any of you guys believe mediumship can bring any kind of danger?
I think if an extensive medium, it's not danger, but he's going to be more susceptible to like be active. How can I say, like you have people that are deemed as a craze, but in reality they are obsessed by spirit. So I think if you're ostensively, maybe you have your channel to get influence is bigger than a one non-ostensive.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be more dangerous.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, I was just going to say, you could have a spirit that just wants to be to create problems, and you're the vessel that they're going to use to create problems, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any other comment? I see everybody's sleeping then. So what are you gonna do? I will not comment your two answers right now. We go through the test, and then at the end, we'll see what we can take from there. All right. Problems and dangers of mediumship. The influence of the practice of mediumship on the health and mind and children. Is the mediumistic faculty an indication of some pathological state or simply an abnormal one? Sometimes abnormal, but not pathological. There are vigorously healthy mediums, and well ones are so for other reasons. So what can we take from there? Mediumship is not what will make you have a pathological condition. You may have a pathological condition, and on top of that, you may be also medium, more ostensive medium. And then both things get mixed, misunderstood, miscomprehended. And then is a recipe for a period of too many questions, sometimes without answers. But mediumship will not make you crazy, or will not bring you any disease like, you know. Can exercising the mediumistic faculty cause fatigue? If prolonged exercise of any faculty produce fatigue, the same happens with mediumship, especially the physical effects type, which necessarily cause an expenditure of fluids. This leads the medium to become fatigued, but his or her fluid will be restored with rest. Interesting, because there are people that believe that we need to not have limits for time for the exercise. And for those that are already familiar with the way we do, we establish the amount of communication and the length of the communication. We will not have a medium speaking for half an hour. No. Right? Why not? Because this will create a fatigue. And it is our responsibility also to protect the medium himself or herself. Hi, Denise.
I just thought about it. I don't know, because you associate mentorship like with exercise. Like, I wonder, because in exercise, fatigue, the more you practice it, the more we can do. I wonder if with mentorship, because I know that you have a certain amount of fluid, can we increase the amount of mentorship you do? The more you do it, the more you can do something like that? Or there is the fluid, there's a limit and that's it?
I understand your question. I understand your question, and it's very interesting, right? Because you're making a parallel with the physical exercise.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If I'm going to the gym once a week, is one thing. If I'm going to the gym 3 times a week, is another thing. But what we are talking about here are fluids, your vital fluids, your energy, and that's a different thing, right? Remember, you're not exercising physically your body. You are having a connection with another spirit. It's not like if I'm going to do that 10 times a day, will make me stronger. No. I have people that work in mediumship meetings several times a week. But through that exercise, they will never stay an hour allowing one spirit to talk. It's not the frequency of the activity, it's the duration of the activity. It's a bit different. And it's not your physical body, it's the whole process, it's the whole mechanism of communications from one spirit through your physical organism, right? So it is definitely not recommended to push more than we should, right?
Thank you.
And as always, there are people and people. There are people that will be able, for example, you perhaps will be able to cope half an hour per spirit 3 times a day. The other person may not. So as we deem to protect everyone, we try not to allow that to happen. Hi, Liz.
Hi. Yeah, especially for the physical effects and emanating things like ectoplasm, it is actually very draining for the medium. Not from an exercise point of view, but from an energy point of view. And a medium can actually lose even a couple of kilos in weight during a session. So they have to be fairly robust. And generally, what I've seemed to have found is that mediums that used to do that tended to be quite big mediums in the first place, and to be able to withstand the draining and the loss of the weight, because energetically it's quite demanding on the physical effects, or was.
I never found resonance within the Spiritism library that a medium of physical effects must be a tall and thick guy. And we do have other examples, people like Peixotinho, for example. He was short, thin, and had problems to breathe. So I don't know from where this information is coming from, but I will not go on that path, all right? But what you said in regards to the fluids, that we spell on fluids, yes, that I agree. Hi, Anna. Anna, your mic is closed.
Liz had the hands up before me, no?
I don't know. I just saw one. I didn't even see Liz.
It's okay, Anna, go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying that the same that Guilherme just said, that what she told doesn't make resonance for any of what I studied. And one thing is the ectoplasm, most of it comes back to the medium after. So it's not that you're gonna drain and like that. And another thing is that many mediums, even physical effects or not, of course, most of the physical effects medium, they donate ectoplasm, even if they don't know if they are not in the right frequency and with the good work and in the love work of the light, they will maybe being manipulated by the bad spirits also, and they are also using it. So I mean, it's a lot of things to study and consider about how it's done. I don't agree much, but I cannot say much. I'm just me.
There are a couple of things, right? We're not going deep into ectoplasm. That's not the goal here. But there is more than one type of ectoplasm, right? And there is more than one type of utilization of ectoplasm. When we're talking about materialization, what you donate will come back to you, right? There is also register in the Spiritism library that people do lose weight through those activities sometimes, right? It depends on the medium, depends on the utilization. Yeah. So, hi, Liz.
Also, I would like to ask Valerie if she wants to say something now, because I could see that she put a hand up before me.
I didn't see that. No.
I don't know if Valerie would like to say something before me.
Thank you. It's been partly answered.
All
Go
right.
ahead, please.
Yes.
I think my point here is it is not an energetic one or ectoplasm, nothing. But in my own experience, I think when we do something that engages our mind, it usually is a little bit more tiring than physically, isn't it? So obviously, yesterday we've been studying through this our studies here on a Saturday that is very rare to find a physical effects medium like it was before. And then today we have more intellectual capable mediums. And then for that, I think when we have the contact, when our perispirit is in contact with the spirit who is coming to communicate, we also feel the emotions, the mental state, and that can be very draining for the medium. And you know, sometimes we get tired, and still sometimes those emotions after the session is still with us for a little bit, and you know, this is really draining. And I think, yes, as Guilherme said, you know, the length of it can be detrimental for many aspects. I think I'm just bringing up the psychological side of the practice. That's all.
Hi, Valerie.
I agree with what you just said, Liz. And I think there is also another impact on the way you can be drained, or your forces can be drained from the different feelings you're exposed to. I also have the feeling that when you give a lot, when you are, well, it depends what kind of mediumship meetings you're having, but when you're giving a lot of fluids and energy, I also have the feeling that in those meetings, there's so much energy coming from different, maybe spirits, different, I don't know, sources, that we gain a lot too. So I also have the feeling that we're not only giving, that we're getting fluids. So it may depend on the meeting.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that happens as well is that sometimes we mix energy with ectoplasm, right? Ectoplasm is one thing, energy is another thing, right? Sometimes people say it's the same, even to better understand, but it's a bit different, okay? So what time is it? We have 5 minutes. So let me read a little bit more. Apart from the cases of abuse, can exercising mediumship in and of itself cause health problems? There are times when it is prudent and even necessary to abstain from, or at least moderate, the use of mediumship. It depends on the physical or mental state of the medium, who usually becomes aware of it. When the medium begins to feel fatigued, it is time to stop. Hi, Liz. Eu sou ali.
This is included in this 4-2, 3-2. But you said that energy is not the same ectoplasm. And the fluidum is energy or ectoplasm? Fluidum.
This subject, fluid, energy, and ectoplasm,
exact.
will demand time, and I will not go deeper into the subject on this study, okay? But okay. I would recommend you all to search and study the subject, because it's very important, together with the perispirit. To understand the mediumistic phenomena, it is highly recommended to study perispirit, fluid, energy, and ectoplasm. Okay?
Thank you.
So, apart from the case of so the item number 4, right? My exercising the faculty present more problems for one individual than for no, not this one. Sorry, I jumped. Apart from the case of abuse, can exercising mediumship in and of itself cause health problems? There are times when it's prudent to stop or reduce, right? People create their own truth about everything in life, as is very normal, right? But we're speaking here about situations where someone is sick, someone is having heavy obsession problem. Someone just had surgery. You know, we are not talking about someone because, I think I'm tired. I'm not going to do that anymore. That's a different thing. All right. But as ever, we read what we want to read. We understand what we want to understand. Right. But yes, in some situations, we have to reduce the amount of things we do. Not only mediumship. This is everything in life. Even for a young fella that used to run a marathon and he had a little problem on the knee, he will reduce that for a little bit, because otherwise he will not feel well on the end of the marathon. So it is our time, unfortunately. Let me just save on the other computer. Today is a bit awkward. So, guys, let me stop sharing. Pablo is there. Pablo, can you do a final prayer?
Sure. Let's just be thankful for being able to be together today and to listen, to reflect, to bring questions and to apprehend what has been kindly shared with us today. May we keep the studies in our minds, in our daily lives, for us to be able to keep evolving and acquiring further and further more information and understanding regarding mediumship and spiritism and how it places itself in our lives. Dear Lord, please allow us to have a restful and blessed weekend, and that we all be able to be here next week. Thank you, and so be it.
Thank you, Pablo. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all a very good weekend. And to those that will join us in the next meeting, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Can I? No, I'm going that way. Okay. Oh, you've got a parcel for me.